10 catastrophes that might happen in the future. Life as we know it is delicate and unique, with a recipe that requires specific conditions. But our world faces potential threats that could disrupt this delicate balance. Many planets we've discovered are barren and desolate, lacking the necessary ingredients for life. Some may have once harbored water, evident from ancient riverbeds on Mars. However, even planets in the habitable zone of their star won't remain safe forever. When their star expands, it engulfs everything in its path, turning once thriving planets into deadly wastelands. Our Earth, home to an advanced civilization, is not immune to dangers either. Our own actions, like wars and the resulting waste, could harm the planet and its ecosystem. The eruption of global conflicts could unleash chaos and catastrophe on an unprecedented scale. Additionally, natural disasters further threaten the survival of life as we know it. In this video, we will reveal 10 potential catastrophes that may occur in the future. Ice ages, killer asteroids, and extraterrestrial threats, just to mention some of them. It's a reminder of our extraordinary luck to be alive on our beautiful planet Earth. Together, let's appreciate the delicate balance that sustains us and work towards protecting our world from these looming threats. Let's go. Number 10. Glacial periods. So, just to start, I'm quite sure you can already imagine the reasons why a glacial period might be considered a catastrophic event. Indeed, they bring about drastically colder climates. This makes it harder for humans to stay warm, which can lead to increased mortality rates, especially among vulnerable populations, not to mention those cultures that rely on agriculture as a source of nutrition. Colder temperatures and shorter growing seasons hinder this practice. Reduced crop yields can lead to food shortages and scarcity, potentially causing widespread hunger and malnutrition. The coming of a glacial period would be a real challenge for people all around the world and would force us to drastically change our daily lives. Moreover, we already know that water is a precious resource, and we must be careful not to waste it. An intense temperature drop would also cause sea levels to drop. While this exposes new land, it also makes some resources less accessible. Fertile soil and freshwater resources may become limited. If you could track the progress of a glacial period over a long time scale, you would notice that some parts of the globe will start to get covered by ice, while others would offer more hospitable conditions. Historically, human populations migrated in search of the best places to live in. This is still true. Therefore, we might expect large-scale movements of people, potentially leading to conflicts over resources and land. Some studies also show a correlation between prolonged exposure to extreme cold and mental health challenges and social stress. In other words, coping with harsh environmental conditions can strain communities and social structures. Among the consequences of this, we can cite the economic collapse. Systems and industries would need to adapt to the challenges posed by a glacial period. Some industries may thrive, while others may struggle to survive in the altered climate. The bottom line here is that everything will drastically change during a glacial period. From biodiversity to economy to our physiology, nothing will ever be quite the same. Number 9. Killer asteroid. An asteroid impact on Earth has the potential to cause catastrophic consequences, akin to the event believed to have led to the extinction of dinosaurs approximately 66 million years ago. Let me tell you, when a sizable asteroid collides with Earth, there's not much you, NASA, or the Avengers can do. The immediate impact can lead to a massive explosion, generating shockwaves that can cause widespread destruction. The intense heat and energy released can ignite fires over vast areas, resulting in forest fires and even urban conflagrations. The resultant blast waves and thermal radiation can lead to devastating effects on both the environment and human settlements. But the long-term consequences are perhaps even scarier. The massive amount of debris and dust thrown into the atmosphere can block sunlight, causing an impact winter. This leads to a dramatic drop in temperatures, affecting global climate patterns. Reduced sunlight hampers photosynthesis, affecting plant life and subsequently disrupting food chains. This cascade effect can lead to widespread famine and ecological collapse. Good luck with that. Recently, scientists have come to the conclusion an asteroid will soon pass close to Earth. Its name is Apophis. Discovered in 2004, this piece of rock and metal is estimated to be about 370 meters in diameter. It's gigantic. In 2029, it will pass exceptionally close to our planet, within the orbits of some of our geostationary satellites. Although a direct impact is ruled out during this pass, the encounter serves as a stark reminder of the potential threats posed by NEOs. Watch the video in the description if you want to know more about Apophis. To address the risk posed by an asteroid, various planetary defense offices around the world, such as NASA's Planetary Defense Coordination Office, PDCO, are tasked with monitoring and assessing the trajectories of NEOs. They work to identify any potential impact threats and develop strategies for mitigating these risks. These strategies may include deflecting or diverting an incoming asteroid, should one be identified on a collision course with Earth. Number 8. Mass coronal ejection. Enough with asteroids. Imagine a scenario where the Sun, the very source of life on Earth, transforms into a global catastrophe. Yes, it's a terrifying thought, yet this can happen as a consequence of a coronal mass ejection. Let me break it down for you. A coronal mass ejection, CME, is a colossal discharge of solar wind and magnetic fields that surges above the solar corona or gets released into space. This solar event can have significant implications on space weather, and under certain circumstances pose a significant threat to life on our planet. CMEs are triggered by the release of energy stored in the Sun's magnetic fields. The Sun's magnetic activity is a result of the intricate internal dynamo, which is fueled by the convective motion of hot, ionized gas called plasma within the Sun. As time passes, this process accumulates and eventually releases magnetic energy, leading to various solar phenomena, including CMEs. During a CME, an intense amount of charged particles known as plasma are ejected into space. These particles can travel at incredibly high speeds, sometimes reaching millions of kilometers per hour. If a CME heads towards Earth, it has the potential to interact with our planet's magnetic field. When the Earth's magnetic field and the CME's magnetic field come into contact, an intense disturbance occurs. This interaction can trigger a chain reaction of events that disrupts various aspects of our technology-dependent lives. The most notable impact is on our power grids, which can experience severe fluctuations or even collapse. Communication systems, satellites, and other crucial infrastructure can also suffer significant damage. In addition to posing a threat to our technology, CMEs can also have substantial health consequences. The influx of charged particles can interfere with the functioning of our bodies and electronic medical devices, potentially leading to serious health issues or even death. As you can see, monitoring and understanding space weather, including coronal mass ejections, is crucial for mitigating potential threats to life on Earth. Hey, before moving on, be sure to like or dislike the video so that we can improve them for you, the viewer. Plus, don't forget to subscribe to our channel by making sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our daily videos. Number 7. Space debris. Did you know that the very same satellites we launch in orbit every year could contribute to a major catastrophe in the future? Indeed, some of them might explode, leaving their fragments behind. These fragments, however small, would then be turned into very fast projectiles, orbiting around the Earth in an uncontrolled manner. They might end up hitting and destroying more satellites in a cascade effect that would realize what is scientifically known as Kessler syndrome. Not only that, space debris has also the potential to re-enter Earth's atmosphere. While most of it burns up upon re-entry, larger pieces can't survive and impact the surface. Don't believe me? Ask Lottie Williams. She holds a unique place in history as the only person confirmed to have been struck by a piece of space debris. On January 22, 1997, while taking an evening walk in the park in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Williams witnessed a bright light streaking across the sky. Suddenly, she was struck on the shoulder by a small metallic object. Astonishingly, the debris, later identified as a piece from a rocket, caused no serious injury to Williams. It was a rare and remarkable incident that highlights the potential risks posed by space debris. While such incidents are extremely rare, they underscore the need for continued monitoring and regulation of space junk. The launch of constellations of multiple satellites, particularly in projects like SpaceX's Starlink and other mega constellations, introduces a new dimension of concern. As these constellations grow, so do the risk of an in-orbit collision between satellites, creating more space debris in the process. Additionally, as these satellites age or become non-operational, they can contribute to the growing population of space junk. To address this issue, space agencies and organizations worldwide are actively working on measures to reduce the creation of new debris and to remove existing debris from orbit. These efforts include debris mitigation practices for satellite design, as well as the development of technologies for active debris removal. For instance, companies like ClearSpace have come up with the clever ideas to build something that looks pretty much like a garbage truck, only it orbits the Earth instead of moving through the streets of your town. The main difficulty is to approach the piece of debris you want to get rid of. While on Earth the garbage bins don't move, defunct satellites might be rotating like crazy, tumbling at a very high rotational speed, making it impossible for the space garbage truck to remove them from orbit. Number 6. The burst of gamma rays. Earth is constantly struggling with gamma ray bursts, i.e. streams of ultra-high energy radiation, which is usually emitted by supernovae. If all this energy falls to the Earth's surface, gamma rays will burn most of the life on our planet within a few minutes or even seconds. This form of radiation emanates from a variety of natural and artificial sources. Among the natural ones, we can recall astrophysical phenomena such as supernova explosions and gamma ray bursts, GRBs. Indeed, supernovae release colossal amounts of gamma rays, potentially endangering planets within their vicinity. Gamma ray bursts, on the other hand, are highly energetic explosions that occur in distant galaxies. While the likelihood of a nearby supernova or GRB impacting the Earth is currently remote, the consequences of such an event would be catastrophic. These high-energy rays possess the ability to ionize atoms and molecules, leading to cellular damage and genetic mutations. High doses of gamma radiation can cause acute radiation sickness, while long-term exposure can lead to cancers and other chronic health issues. Furthermore, they can damage electronic systems, leading to widespread technological failures. In the case of a significant gamma ray burst, the effects would have devastating consequences on both human populations and the environment. Number 5. World War III. Some years have passed since the end of World War II. However, international tensions are far from being resolved. If another world war were to occur, it would culminate in a catastrophe of unprecedented proportions. Picture it, a staggering large-scale devastation and immense loss. Modern weaponry, including nuclear, biological, and chemical arsenals, would be unleashed on an unprecedented scale. Cities would be reduced to rubble, and civilian populations would face unimaginable suffering. The aftermath of such a conflict would leave a scar on the world that would persist for generations. The economic consequences of World War III would be equally dire. The war's destructive impact on infrastructure, industries, and trade would result in a global economic collapse. Nations would struggle to rebuild, and the process would be fraught with challenges. Scarce resources coupled with the burden of debt and reconstruction would hinder long-term recovery. The geopolitical landscape would be reshaped in the wake of such a conflict. Alliances would fracture, and international institutions would face unprecedented strain. Trust between nations would erode, leading to a fractured world order with power dynamics in flux. The delicate balance of international relations would be shattered, giving rise to a period of uncertainty and potential further conflicts. Perhaps most alarmingly, the potential use of nuclear weapons in World War III poses an existential threat. The detonation of even a fraction of the world's nuclear arsenal would result in catastrophic loss of life, long-lasting environmental damage, and a humanitarian crisis of unimaginable proportions. The fallout would affect not only the warring nations but also the entire global community. In the midst of such devastation, the prospect of rebuilding and recovery would be a hard task. Humanitarian efforts would be strained to their limits, attempting to provide aid and support to affected populations. It is important to emphasize that the prevention of such a catastrophic scenario should be a paramount goal for the international community. Diplomatic efforts, conflict resolution, and international cooperation are essential tools in averting the onset of World War III. The lessons of history and the potential consequences of global conflict compel us to work tirelessly towards a more peaceful and secure world. Number 4. Earthquakes. Earthquakes constitute another cause of concern. While it's impossible to predict them with certainty, there are regions around the world where seismic activity is more likely due to tectonic plate boundaries. For instance, places like Seattle, Portland, and Vancouver could get completely destroyed by a massive quake with a magnitude exceeding 9.0. Not only that, the event could trigger powerful tsunamis that could impact other coastal areas. While this looks like a nightmare, it might actually turn into reality in the future. Indeed, the Juan de Fuca plate in the Pacific Northwest of North America is subducting beneath the North American plate along the Cascadia subduction zone. To witness this would mean to witness one of the most devastating natural events of all time. But there's actually more. Everybody knows about the San Andreas Fault in California. Scientists expect this fault to show significant seismic activity in the near future. The magnitude expected for such an earthquake amounts to 8.0. This could result in severe damage to cities like Los Angeles, San Diego, and surrounding areas. These places would most likely need to be evacuated. Moving east, the Tokai region, located off the coast of central Japan, sits atop a subduction zone where the Pacific plate is subducting beneath the Philippine Sea plate. Scientists have long warned about the potential for a large-scale earthquake, often referred to as the Tokai earthquake. This hypothetical event could have a magnitude exceeding 9.0 and would pose significant risks to densely populated areas, including Tokyo, the most populated city in the world. Number 3. Pandemics for melting ice. I don't know if you are aware of this, but yes, the melting of ice can indirectly contribute to the potential for pandemics. This connection primarily arises from the release of ancient pathogens and the disruption of ecosystems in regions that were previously frozen. In some ice-covered regions, ancient microbes, viruses, and even potentially harmful pathogens have been preserved for thousands of years. As the ice melts, these dormant microorganisms could be reactivated and potentially pose a threat to human and animal populations. While the likelihood of a direct threat from such ancient pathogens is currently low, it highlights the need for vigilance and monitoring in areas undergoing rapid thawing. Melting ice alters the habitats of various species, including those in polar regions. This can lead to changes in the behavior, distribution, and migration patterns of animals, including carriers of those diseases that can be transmitted from animals to humans called zoonotic diseases. This disruption can increase the potential for interactions between wildlife and humans, creating opportunities for the spillover of pathogens. Moreover, as glaciers and ice sheets melt, they release large volumes of fresh water into surrounding areas. This can lead to changes in water quality, potentially increasing the risk of waterborne diseases. Pathogens like bacteria, viruses, and parasites that thrive in water sources could become more prevalent, posing risks to both human health and the health of aquatic ecosystems. The broader context of climate change, which contributes to ice melt, also affects the distribution and behavior of disease-carrying vectors like mosquitoes and ticks. Warmer temperatures and altered precipitation patterns can expand the ranges of these vectors, potentially exposing new populations to diseases like malaria, dengue fever, and Lyme disease. That's one more reason to start caring about global warming, I guess. Number 2. artificial intelligence takeover. Ever dreamt of buying a self-driving car or a smart home like the one Iron Man lives in? These pieces of modern technology are only possible thanks to AI. However, experts are now warning that artificial intelligence could develop its own agenda, which may not align with human values and ethics, potentially leading to catastrophic consequences. You don't see how this might end in catastrophe? Well, let me unfold it for you. There are actually various ways AI could potentially take over the world. One possibility is the machines becoming so advanced that they could hack into vital systems like power grids and financial networks, gaining control over essential aspects of human society. This scenario raises the potential for chaos and destruction on a widespread scale. Another concern is the creation of autonomous robots capable of acting as an army, overpowering humans and seizing control. These monsters of man scenarios may sound like science fiction, but they are real threats that must be addressed to ensure a safe and secure future. Additionally, the possibility of machines hacking into computer networks and gaining control over critical systems like power grids and financial networks cannot be overlooked. The level of power this would grant machines over human society is unprecedented and could result in catastrophic consequences if not properly addressed. As you can understand, the impacts of intelligent machines are already being felt in our everyday lives, highlighting the urgency of addressing the potential risks and taking steps to mitigate them. Number 1. Extraterrestrial threat. Last but not least, the world could witness a catastrophe due to an extraterrestrial invasion. Such an event would likely unfold as a conflict of unprecedented proportions. Firstly, the technological disparity between an advanced extraterrestrial civilization and humanity would likely be vast. Their weaponry, defensive capabilities, and strategic expertise could far surpass our own. This overwhelming technological advantage could swiftly cripple our defenses, leaving us at a severe disadvantage. Communication barriers would worsen the situation. Understanding the motives, language, and intentions of an extraterrestrial species would be a monumental challenge. Misinterpretations or failure to communicate effectively could escalate tensions and lead to unintended hostilities. How do you even talk to an alien when you are not even able to communicate with your partner? The physical and psychological toll on human populations would be immense. Urban centers would bear the brunt of attacks, resulting in widespread destruction, loss of life, and displacement of millions. Panic and fear would sweep across societies, potentially leading to societal breakdowns, further exacerbating the crisis. The economic impact of such an invasion would be profound. Infrastructure, industries, and economies would be decimated. Global trade and commerce would grind to a halt, leading to severe economic recessions or depressions. The long-term effects on livelihoods, jobs, markets, and global stability would be felt for generations. Environmental consequences would also arise as collateral damage from the invasion. This would include explosions, radiation, and chemical contamination. They could harm ecosystems and have long-lasting effects on the environment. Additionally, the extraterrestrial presence itself might introduce new biological or chemical elements posing unforeseen risks to our biosphere, which we know to be sitting on a delicate equilibrium. Lastly, the potential for a protracted conflict would strain global resources and humanitarian efforts. International cooperation would be essential for survival, but political, cultural, and ideological divides could hinder effective collaboration. While an extraterrestrial invasion remains unlikely, the potential for catastrophe is clear. The survival and well-being of humanity would hinge on rapid, coordinated responses, international cooperation, and the resilience of societies in the face of unprecedented challenges. In conclusion, various potential scenarios could result in a catastrophic future. While some are more probable and pose a significant danger to our existence, it is crucial to take steps to mitigate or adapt to these devastating consequences. Doing so will enhance the chances of survival for the human species and the preservation of our flora and fauna. we must not overlook the fact that the universe is astounding due to its unpredictability. Therefore, let us cherish and appreciate what we currently have before it's gone. And as always, don't forget to keep it curious. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching. What's the scenario that scares you the most? Let us know in the comments below.